back and relax and enjoy another episode of J&C Fix and Play.
Thanks for stopping by, everyone. So for today's video, we are going to be upgrading the SSD, well, specifically the m.2s on the Acer Nitro 5. This is the 2020 model. I was able to pick it up at a really good price. The biggest knock on this computer is the 8 gigs of RAM and the 256 gigs worth of hard drive space. I did upgrade the RAM. I'll post that video at a later date, but it's pretty simple, especially if you watch this video. So we're going to install a second m.2 because this computer has 2 m.2 slots and 1 slot for another type of hard drive, whether it's an SSD or traditional. So before we begin, please hit that subscribe button, leave any comments. Always trying to improve this channel. This is still something that I'm new at. And any questions you have, please leave. And I apologize for the video, but while I was filming this, my tripod broke. So I did kind of have to film it one-handed. And once again, I apologize for that. But hit me up with any questions you guys may have, and let's get to it. So once again, I apologize for the video. I'm trying to do this one-handed. I broke my tripod, so I'm just doing this actually by hand with my camera. But the first step into upgrading the SSD on this computer is to actually just take your Phillips screwdriver, and you're going to unscrew all the screws, put them in a safe spot so you don't lose them. I had 11 on mine, 11 screws, so yours should be the same as long as there's nothing wrong or a different year. But yeah, 11 screws, take them all out, put them to the side, and you should be good. Okay, so once you get the screws out, or 11 should be good, next you want to take a pry tool. Do not use metal, don't use like a knife or anything, because you will damage more than likely the computer. I'm using a guitar pick. I know they sell kits. This is just what I had available. This was the safest thing for me to use. Pick a corner, start at it, and you're just going to work your way all around the computer, just very gently separating the two halves. All right, so once you get it separated or loose, you're just going to pull the unit off. And as you can see, this is the next step. You can see the RAM. I did upgrade this. You do have the SSD that came with it, which is a 256 gig. You do have your drive bay below that if you want to install like an SSD or something. That's what that is. We're going to install this 1 terabyte m.2 from SanDisk, and that should give us enough space for what I'm going to use this for. Now, before you proceed, next step is to actually disconnect the battery. I would do this just so that you don't have any issues with the computer. You don't want to fry nothing. And it's relatively easy. I'm going to use this tool that came with a kit that I had. This is made of plastic. Don't use a screwdriver. You don't want to scratch the board or anything, but you're just going to disconnect the battery right there where it connects to the motherboard. Okay, so once you get the battery disconnected, next step is to remove this screw. If the battery's on the bottom, it should be on your right hand side. It's just a Phillips, but this is the screw that holds down the SSD. Okay, so once the screw is taken out and set to the side, you're going to take your m.2. It's going to be configured basically how I have it right here. It only does fit in one way. Don't force anything. And it does go in at an angle, and then you're going to push down on it. So we're just going to pop that in, and we're going to push it down. And the next step from here is quite simple. You're just going to attach the screw. Right, you're going to put it right back in place where it was. Okay, so this is what you should have at this point. You should have the m.2 in there. You should have the screw set. And the next step that we're going to be doing is moving back to the battery. And we're going to reconnect it. Okay, so at this point you should have reconnected the battery, and this is very simple. It's just a reverse of what you did to disconnect it. Just make sure it's snapped in there in place, and this is what you should see. You should have both your m.2s if you're keeping the original in there. Your battery should be reconnected. There should be nothing in this slot unless you're adding an SSD, which you can with the included ribbon if you choose to, but that'll be another video. Okay, So once you have the SSD installed, once you have the battery reconnected, next step is to snap the back cover back on. And from this point forward is pretty much a tail end. All we're going to do is screw back all these screws that we took out. We're just going to put them back into the computer and tighten them back down. I wouldn't tighten them all on one side, like don't tighten them all the way. I would just get them started, and then just like I would just in a pattern, I would go from side to side. This way you get a nice even connection between the two halves. And then from that point, it's on to setting up the hard drive. Okay, so once you have the two halves back together, next up is to go to disk management. And you have to do this every time you add a new hard drive to the computer. It's pretty straightforward, and the whole purpose of this is because your computer, you have to tell your computer to recognize the hard drive and what you want to set it up as. So once you do that, open up disk management, and then you should come to these screens here. Okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to click on the hard drive. You're going to select new simple volume. You're going to proceed to next. It should show you like the size of the hard drive. It should give you an opportunity to assign a letter to the drive. I just did mine with the pre-populated one, which was D. You're going to proceed to finish, and there you go. The computer should tell you that it says that there's a new volume or a new hard drive, so to speak, and we should go to the final step. All right, so it's quite simple. Final step is just to verify that your new hard drive is there. As you can see, it's here. It shows that we have just about 1 terabyte of space to use. I hope this video helps. This is actually a great budget computer. Absolutely love it. Please feel free to hit that subscribe button, leave a comment. I'm always looking for feedback. Go have some fun, play some games, and everyone just take care and enjoy your time with your family.